Hello everyone, I'm Frank and welcome to Frank Puzzles, and this is today's easy level puzzle. Now remember, this is considered easy by the people on Logic Masters Germany forum, and there's a lot of really smart people there, so take that with easiness with a grain of salt. Anyways, today's puzzle is called Powers of Two by Bobo, and here are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, which means place the digits 1 through 9 once each in every row, column, and box. Killer cages. Digits in cages must sum to the number in the top left corner and cannot repeat. So these 6 cells must add up to 32. These 3 cells must add up to 16. These 3 cells must add up to 8. These 2 cells must add up to 4. This 1 cell must add up to 2. And that's what killer cages are. And they cannot and there cannot be repeats. Remember that. Little killers. Digits along a marked diagonal sum to the number indicated outside the grid. So, for example, these 4 digits have to add up to 16. These 8 digits must add up to 64. These 9 digits, I can probably get this diagonal sometime, must add up to 32. These 4 digits must add up to 8, etc., etc. Kropke dots. Cells joined by a black dot must have a ratio of 1 to 2. So, for example, if this was a 2, this would have to be a 1 or a 4. And those are all the rules. If you'd like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, I'm going to get started. Let's go. Okay, well, we have certain numbers here. This is 2. This is 2. This has to be a combination of 1 and 3, because 2 digits that add up to 4 must be 1 and 3. Same here. This is 1 and 3. There cannot. Okay, so what's the most this could? What's the least this could be? This is 1 and 2. This would be 1 and 1. So this can't be 1 or 3. So this is at least 2. Can it be 4? Maybe. If this is 1 and 1, this could be up to 5, right? Because it'd be 6. So 2, 4, 5 works there. If this is 3 and this is 1, this can be at most 4. So it's 1, 3, or 4. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4. This has to be either 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. And it has to have a 1. 32. This cannot be 2. So this is either 3, 6 or it's 4, 8. We don't know which. So again, it could be up to 4 plus 3 plus 1. That works. Okay. 16. 64. Okay, so one of them has to be 1 or 3. 64. You have 8 numbers. And one of them has to be a 3 at most. That means you have 7 other numbers to add up to 61. Is that right? Yeah, 7 other numbers adding up to 61. At least. 61, and then you have, so this could be 9. Okay, so what happens if they're all 9s and 8s? So this is 8 and 9. This is 9. This is 8 and 9. We have 9 plus 9 plus 9, and then 2 more 9s. So this would be 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. So that's 35. Plus 2, 8 times 2. Wait, what? So that's 35. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 35. Wait. Oh no, 45. Okay, that's why. I'm like, how does 35 and 16 add up to anything? Okay. So it has to be 8 and 9 then. 9 times 5 is 40, 45. 45, 45. And then you plus 8 times 2, which is 16, so that's 61. And then therefore, this has to be 3. So then this is 3, this is 1, because we have no degrees of freedom here. So, and okay. A viewer asked me what degrees of freedom is. Usually, I only do it on diagonals, because if you have a row or a column, degrees of freedom doesn't really make much sense, because you're limited by other things besides actual values. But for example, in this one, you take the uppermost. Okay, so say this was not a 3. Say we didn't know what this was as at most. You add up the totals. So you have 8 plus 9 plus, so this, yeah. Let's say that this was 8 or 9. So this is 8 or 9. This could, let's say that could be 8 or 9, right? The degrees of freedom here, you have 17. The total that this can at most add up to is 17 plus 9 plus 17 plus 9 plus 17. So it's 17 times 3, which is 51, plus 18. That would be 69. So 69 is the maximum this diagonal can be. Now we know it adds up to 64. Therefore, when I use degrees of freedom, I'm saying how much can the lowest number go down to accommodate this value of 64. And so when that's the case, it can go down 5, right? Because you have 69 minus 64 is 5. So you have 5 degrees of freedom. So the 8 can go down to a 3. And that's the least it can go down to. You can also do it the other way, where you have I guess, like, you have degrees of freedom here too, right? The least this could be is 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1, which is 5. So you have 3 degrees of freedom to go up from the highest number. So this 1 could go up 3, because you have 3 degrees of freedom, to 4. The 2 can go up to 5, because you have 3 degrees of freedom. And this 1 could go up to 4. Because you have 3 degrees of freedom. So that's what I usually mean by degrees of freedom, and that helps limit things so that you can figure things out, right? And so because this was limited, we know we lose all our degrees of freedom by this 8 going down to a 3, right? So this has to be 3 then. This has to be a 9. This has to be 9. This is an 8-9 pair. This is 9. This is an 8-9 pair. So 8 cannot be here. So this is either 2, 4, 1, 2, or 3, 6. We don't know which. So that's what I usually mean by degrees of freedom. And we know this is 8 or 9. So this has to be at minimum 1 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1, right? So this is 10, 11, 12. So we have 4 degrees of freedom here. So this could go 1 up to 5, right? Because we have 4 degrees of freedom, we can go up. This has to be, could be an 8. Sorry, we have 5 degrees of freedom. This is 1 and 8, so that's 9, 10, 11. So we had 16 minus 11 means you have 5 degrees of freedom here. So that could go up to 6. So this could be 1, can't be 2, could be 3, 4, 5, 6. It could be 8, and then this could be go up to 6 also. But it can't be 1 or 3, actually. So actually, we know this is 2 and 8 at least. Okay, so I was right. There is only 4 degrees of freedom, so this can't have a 6. So this 2 could go up to a 6 because there's 4 degrees of freedom. You have 4 leeway for the lowest number to go up. So the 8 can go to 9. That's fine. That's totally legit. So that's all I mean by degrees of freedom, right? In this one, what's the maximum? So this could be, does that help us? I don't think so. This is 32, and you have 6 digits which add up to it, and you cannot have a 9, because the 9 is not here. You have a 9 here, and you have a 9 here, and a 9 here, so none of these can be 9. This could be 9, though. So that's not ruled out. Ah, this is 9, so this can't be 9. This can't be 9, and we know that can't be 9, so this has to be the 9. So this can't be 9 anymore. This is 8, this is 9. So we do maintain that degree of freedom here. So it's still a degree of, we have still 4 degrees of freedom on this diagonal. This can't be 8. This could be 8, or that could be 8. So the 9s cannot be here, cannot be here, cannot be here. Therefore, this is 9. This can't be 9, this can't be 9, this can't be 9, that can't be 9, so this has to be 9. So we have all the 9s, so the 9s has to be one of these two. This can't be 3 anymore, this is 1, this is 3. Ah, we lose 2 degrees of freedom here. So we had 3 degrees of freedom, now we lost 2 of them. So this cannot be 3 then, because we don't have 2, so this is at least 2 and 3, so that adds up to 5. So this lost 2 degrees of freedom, so it can no longer be a 3 or a 4, so this is a 1. So this can't be 1. There, and we know there's a 1 in a 3 cells that add up to 8, 3 unique digits that add up to 8, so this has to be the 1. None of these can be 1. So this is 2, 4, or this is 3, 6. We lost 2 degrees of freedom here, so we only have 1 more degree of freedom, so it cannot be 4 or 5, so this is 2. This can't be 2 or 5, then this is 3 or 4. So this can't be 3 or 4, so this is 2 or 5. Again, we lost 2 degrees of freedom. This can't be a 1 even, so it has to be a 2. So that is a 2. So then this adds up to 8, which is correct. This is 3 or 4. So the 3 has to be one of these 3 numbers. Okay, this has to be 5, 6, or 7. These are 5, 6, 7. Okay. We have 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. This can't be 2. So here, the minimum now here is 2. So we lost 1 degree of freedom here. So now it's 2 plus 8, which is 12, plus 1, which is 13. So now we have 3 degrees of freedom. 2 can go up to 5 from 3 for 3 degrees of freedom, and only 5. 1 can only go up to 4. So this is 2 or 5. The 8 has to be here. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But this can't be 8. 2 cannot be, so 2 has to be in this. Right? Because 2 can't be here, 2 can't be here, 2 can't be here. So the rest of, so we have 5 digits adding up to 30. And you cannot have a 9. There's no 9 possible with these two, and there's no 9 possible for these two. So it has to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Which adds up to 30. So you know the 2's here, and the rest of it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8 cannot be here. The 8 cannot be here. So the 8 is one of these two. We don't know which. This is 2. Let's see. What else do we know? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This can't be 3. This can't be 2. So 1 has to be here. So this can't be 1, which means this is the 1. 1 then has to be one of these 3. 1 is one of these 2. One is one of these 3. Where are the 2's? So this cannot be 6, because if it's 6, this would have to be 3, but 3 can only be with 6, so that doesn't work. So this can't be 6. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No 2, obviously. We know 8's here. We don't know anything else. Okay. So this is 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This cannot contain a 2 or a 1. It could have a 3. So what would that be? 3 adds up to 13. So this would be 3, could be 3, 9, 4, 3, 5, 8, or 3, 6, 7. It could have a 4. We already took into account 3, 4, 9. So 4, which means 5 and 7. It would have to be 4, 5, 7. So this would be 4, 5, and 7. Can it be 5? Starting from a 5 down? No. So these are the possibilities. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 4, 5, 4 through 9. This is 4 through 8. The 3 is one of these two. Okay. Okay, what are these possible values? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These can't be 1. Okay, this can't be 8. What's the maximum here? It would be 1, 7, 8. I think, yeah, the maximum's still too big. So we don't know the degrees of freedom for that. So this killer's done. This one obviously is done. This one's done. The 64 is done. 32 is has the most degrees of freedom either way. 16 is not done. 32 cages is essentially done. So, okay, where's the 2? So the 2 cannot be here, here, or here, or here, so this has to be the 2. 2 cannot be here, so 2 is one of these two. 2 could obviously be one of those 3, could be one of those 4. It has to be one of those 2. This could obviously be 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This can't be 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do the 3's give us anything? Not particularly. Okay. What can this be? 8 has to be here. One of these two is 8. Okay, what does that mean? If this is 8, this can't be 8, so this is 8. Otherwise, there's an 8 here. So the 8s cannot be... Okay, so... And if this is not 8, this is 8, which means that can't be 8, which means that's 8. So there cannot be an 8 on this column, column 6, and row 6. Because 8 has to be here, and 8 has to be here. If this is 8, obviously, there can't be an 8 in the row. If this is not 8, this has to be 8, which makes that a 9, which makes that an 8, which means there's no 8 in that row. It's the same logic for the column. Therefore, there cannot be an 8 anywhere here. So if this was 3, 5, and 8, this is fine, though, because it could be 3, 5, could be 4, 5, 7. You just can't have 8s anywhere else on this. So this could be 1, no 2, could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no 8 or 9. This can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but no 8. This could be 1, no 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, no 8, and no 9. So this can't be 8 either. I'm not sure if that tells us anything. Actually, what's the minimum on this diagonal? Probably pretty low. So 1, 4, and 5 add up to 10. 1, 3, and 4 add up to 8, so that's 18. And then we have 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually, that's not too bad. Huh. So this is 18 at minimum. 2, 3, 4 is 27. So we have 5 degrees of freedom going up. So the 1 can only go up to a 6. 3 could go up to a 7. But the 4 could go up to an 8. So 4 is still valid. Oh, wait, hold up. So another thing about degrees of freedom is that it's the topmost one that can go up to a certain value. So 4 can only go up to 8. Oh, I guess it could be 1. Yeah, this still could go up to 7, right? Because you could have... No, you can't. You can't have a 1 in either of these cases. So yeah, if this is not 1, it can only go up 5. So that would have to be 1 through 6, right? Yeah, because in this specific case, this would be... So if we tried to have a 7 there, we would need to have a 1 somewhere else on that diagonal, and that's not possible. Unfortunately, it doesn't really limit us very much. So for example, like this one, instead of this being 3 as the minimum, this could actually be the 3, and then that would be 8. So that would be a 4 going up to an 8. So that still leaves you the 5 degrees of freedom, which works, right? Um, Interesting. Okay, so one thing is if this is 2, so if this is 2, hmm, that doesn't really help us much. Hmm. Uh, okay, got that, got that. Ah, the 2 in row 1 has to be either here or it's in this 2-4 set, right? If it's not here, that means the 2 has to be here, which means we lose more than 3 degrees of freedom here, and we only have 3 degrees of freedom left. So if this 2 became a 5, that means that we lost all our degrees of freedom, and therefore this has to be a 2 here. But this 2 also loses 2 to 3 degrees of freedom. Actually, it would have to lose 3 degrees of freedom because the 2 and the 4 would have to be here. And therefore, this would be 5. So it would be 5, 5, and 8, which is already 18, which is greater than 16. So this can never be 5. This has to be 2. So because this is 2, this has to be a 3, 6 pair. So this is 3 and 6. This cannot be 3. This cannot be 3, obviously. And there can't be a 6 in either of these. Oops. There cannot be a 6 in either of these. This can't be 2. This can't be 2. Therefore, this is 2. So this maintains still the 3 degrees of freedom possible. So 2 is one of these. 2 is one of these. This can't be 6. So if this is not 3, 6, 3 and 6 both have to be here. Does that tell us anything? Not particularly. Hmm. Let's see. This can be 1, 3. Oops. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, okay, so for 8, where can it also be? 8 can only be here or here. So if this is not 8, that means 8 has to be here, so it has to be with 4. So 4 can never be here. Um, hmm. One of these two is 8, so this can't be 8. Okay, well that, helps a little bit, I guess. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. So this cannot be 1. It could be 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, or 8. Hmm. If this is 8, this can't be 8. Right? If this is 8, well, doesn't say anything about that. One thing we do know is neither of these can be 8. So we have an 8 in one of these 3 cells. We have an 8 in one of these 2 cells. So 8 cannot be... So where is the 8 in row 4? It has to be in box 4. So this is 8. So therefore, there cannot be an 8 in the rest of box 4. That doesn't really tell us too much, unfortunately. Okay, so... This can't be 6. So 8 is one of these. 6 is one of these two. Hmm. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This can't be 3 here. The 1 is one of these 3. Okay, so we have this diagonal. This doesn't help us much. This cannot be 2, 3, 4. Right. So this is at least 10. This is at least 8, so it's 18. But it can't be 2, 3, 4 because 3 and 4 are both taken here. So it has to be at least 2, 3, 5, so it's 28. So we have 4 degrees of freedom now. So this one cannot be a 6. It could go to a 5. Hmm. Does that tell us any more? 8. We have 4 degrees of freedom. 3 can go to 7, 4 could go to 7, 4 could go to 8, 5 could go to 7. Those are all valid. 3 could go to 7, 3 could go to 7. Those are all valid. This is 3 through 8 here. This can't be 3 though. This is 1. No, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, this could be 3, 4, 9. 3, 5, 8, or 3, 6, 7. Or it could be 4, 5, 7. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. If you have a 4 here, I guess it could be 4, 7, right? 2, 4, 7 works because, yeah, the 3 goes up 4 to 7. Actually, the 3 goes up to the 4, the 5 goes up to the 7, and we still have 1 degree of freedom left. Hmm. Um, hmm. Okay, one thing is this can't be 6. If this is 6, the 3 has to be here, right? And there's no 6 here, there's no 6 here. So therefore this would have to have a 6, but that's not possible. Therefore this can't be 6. So if this is not 3, 6, say this is 4, 8, this becomes 5, 7, 5, 7. This becomes 1, 3, 6. Um, so one of these is 6 or 8. We don't know which. Uh, does that tell us anything? Not particularly. Uh, hmm. Hmm. Um, yeah, we just might have to go through the possibilities. So say this was a 5. This would then be 7, 4. This would be 1. So 5. So if this was 5, this would be 7, this would be 4, this would be 2. So this would be 2. This would have to be 3, 6. This would be... This would have to be a 5. So this would be 1, 5, 8. So the 8 would be here. This would be 5. That would be 1. So far, it's all looking kosher. This has to be 3. So therefore, this would be 3. And it's 4, 9, 5. It can no longer be 5, 8, because this can't be 8 and it can't be 5 because of this 5. Or it's 6, 7. So those both work. This becomes 4, 6, 7. So this is 3, this is 6. So 4, 6, 7. So this cannot be 5. Ah, that's where we break down. 5 cannot be any of these, therefore this has to be 5. But the problem is, where is the 8? The 8 can't be here. 8 can't be here anymore, so this doesn't work. So the 5 does not work. I wish there was a more elegant way of doing that. I don't know if there is. Anyways, it cannot be 4, right? If it's 2, 4, and 8, that adds up to 14, and then this would have to be 2, but that's not possible. Therefore, we know the 2 is here, so this is 2. Okay, so we know that, have that. So this degrees of freedom translates all to this cell, right? Because right now they all add up to 12. Therefore, this must be a 4. So this cannot be 4 and 8. So this is 3 and 6, which means this can't be 3 or 6. This is a 5, 7 pair. Therefore, it has to be 1 and 8. So this is 1, this is 8, this is 9, this is 8. So this can't be an 8, which means the 8 has to be here. This can't be 8 or 4. So this is 5, 6, 7, which means this is a 4. So this is a 3 because we have 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. This can't be 3 or 6. This can't be 6. This can't be 3 or 6. So this is 4. There is no 4 in the rest of the row. There's no 4 in the rest of the box or column. So this is a 3, which makes that a 4. This can no longer be 3. This can't be 3. 4 can't be here, and 8 can't be here. No 4, 8, no 8. So 4 is one of those two. This can't be 8, so this has to be an 8. This can no longer be 8, which means it cannot be 3, 5, and 8 anymore. It could still be 3, 4, 9, 3, 6, 7, or 4, 5, 7. If it's 4, 5, 7, this is 4 and this is 5, 7. So this can never be 5, right? Because the 5 could only be now in 4, 5, 7 instead of 3. There's no 3, 5, 8. So it could be 3, 4, 9, 3, 6, 7, or 4, 5, 7, 5, 7. So this can't be 1 anymore. So where is the 9 in this column? It has to be here. Yeah, because that's 9. So this has to be 3, 4, and 9 then. So this can't be 3. This can't be 3. These can't be 3. This can't be 3. These can't be 4. And now we're just doing Sudoku to eliminate stuff. This can't be 4. This can't be 8. 5, 6, 5, 3, 6. So where is 3 in column 8? It cannot be any of these. It cannot be here. Therefore, it must be here. So this is 3. This is 6. There is no 6 here. We have a 5, 7, 5, 7 pair in column 7. So this has to be 4 and 8. So this cannot be 4 in the rest of box 9. So 4, 8, 4, 8. 5, 7, 5, 7. 5, 6, 7. Okay. This can't be 4. This can't be 9 here. This can't be 4. Okay, so we have the 16 diagonal, we have the 8 diagonal. I think we have all the diagonals except for the 32. That is correct. And we have all the cages too. So now we just have to add these up. So we know there's a 4. Okay, so now we lost all our degrees of freedom, I think. 2 plus 5 plus 7 is 14. 14 plus the minimum here is 8, is 22. And the minimum here is 10, which is, so that 10 plus 22 is 32. Yep, we lost all our degrees of freedom. Therefore, this has to be 4, 5, 1, 3. So this can't be 1. This is the 1. And now we're just doing Sudoku. So no 3. This has to, we have a 5, 6, 5, 5, 6, 7 triplet in row 4. So there cannot be any other 5, 6, or 7s in that row. So this is an 8. This is a 1. This can't be 1. This can't be 1. This can't be 4. And, not 1. This can't be 4. This can't be 4. Therefore, this has to be the 4. These can't be 4. This can't be 5, so it's a 7, 8 pair, which forces this to be 5, and that's 7. And this 6. This has to be 6 now. This can't be 6. It's 5, 7. So this is 4. No 5, 6. This can't be 5 or 6. Sorry, this cannot be 6s here. So it's 5, 7, 5, 7. We have a 5, 7, 5, 7 pair. Again, there can't be a 6, so this has to be 8. These can't be 8. This can't be 8, so this is a 7. This is an 8. This can't be 7 anymore. This can't be 5 anymore. This can't be 1 anymore. 3 is one of these two. 3 is one of these two. Okay, so 5, 7. So we have all the diagonals now. This can't be 6. So where is the 6 in row 6? It has to be here. So this is 6. This is 7. This can't be 8, so this is 4. This is 8. There's no 4 or 7, so it becomes 5, 6. No 3 or 6. This can't be 6. This is 5 and 6. There's no 5 or 6 in box 8 because we already taken care of that. So this is 7. This is 4. This is 3. This is 7. This can't be 6 or 7, so this is 5. This is 7. This is 5. This is 6. This has to be 7 then. Makes that 5, which makes that 6. This is 6. This is 3 because of this 3. This 7 means this can't be 7, so this is 5, 7, 5. This is 6. This is 5, and this is a 7. And that's how you solve it. Um, Pretty straightforward. I hope my explanation of um, the degrees of freedom makes sense. It's probably this probably doesn't fit the technical term, and that's what confused my viewer. So yeah, I can understand that. And yeah, as I said, the degrees of freedom is just to. I usually only use it on diagonals, and so then little killer clues usually, because it's hard to imagine. Like every other set is more like limiting. So if you look at things within a box or within a row or a column, you have a lot of limits there. But along a diagonal, you don't have as many limits. So then I basically like to think of these degrees of freedom, what I call degrees of freedom. It's not necessarily the correct term, but what I say is like is degrees of freedom for the, in this case, it would be the lowermost lowermost digit. And for this case, obviously, it was the uppermost digit. So I hope that makes sense, right? Because the whole point is to be able to limit your possibilities so that you can actually it'll allow you to essentially eliminate enough possibilities to fill in digits, right? So like with this one, we knew this was at most a 3, and therefore we had 5 degrees of freedom. So and this could be at most. I mean, sorry, this would have to be the minimum was the maximum you could have was 8. And so going from 8 to 3 limits all 5 degrees of freedom on this diagonal. So I hope that makes sense. If not, and I'm also going to post a comment talking about this. But hopefully this makes sense for my viewer. And it hopefully makes sense for the rest of you too. And really, actually, if you think about it, all of variant Sudoku is really just limiting possibilities. And that's what a lot of these things these techniques that I do are, right? So, for example, this, how do you say it? This degrees of freedom limits possibilities so that we can potentially just say, hey, this cell has to contain this digit. That's the ideal, right? Obviously, if you can contain like a smaller number of digits, that also helps. And I also do that with coloring too, which is probably why I like coloring so much, is that you can limit things. Like, for example, you're saying this cell has to be part of that set, and this cell has to be part of that set, and there's only a certain number of number of values in that set. So I guess that sort of explains sort of the mindset behind why I use degrees of freedom, and what I call degrees of freedom. And also sort of it's my insight into how to solve variant Sudokus. It's not always perfect. Sometimes you have to do trial and error. But you know, that's just the general philosophy, I guess, in my solving. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this solve and explanation, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.